Since the release of all Kombat Kid finishers ranked, many have been asking for a follow-up for the Outworlders. First off, thank you all for your requests, and today we'll be looking at those new Outworlders from Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat 11. Those being Kotal Kahn, D'Vorah, Ferra, Torr, Kollector, Erron Black, and Skarlet. All 20 of their finishers will be ranked from the worst to the best.
Fight!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. My name is Nick, and welcome to, or welcome back to the channel. If you're new, consider clicking the subscribe button to join the Whack Pack today, and to stay tuned for some upcoming future rankings and Mortal content coming soon. After receiving numerous requests to cover the new Outworlders, here we are. These characters have made quite the impact in the MK community, whether it's for their purpose in the story or how awesome they are in the competitive scene, and also many of which have some gnarly finishers. All of the Outworlders finishers will be following a similar criteria, being ranked based on creativity, pacing, and impact on the title they appear in. I won't be counting any brutalities or friendships. I've seen your comments and those rankings are coming soon. A big disclaimer, due to the upgraded graphics engine and the presentation of the fatalities, each of these finishers will be performed on cyber ninjas and robots to follow YouTube's community guidelines. So no, I don't dislike the cyber ninjas, it's just to play it safe. Call me Lando Calrissian all you want. With those out of the way, grab your cowboy hats, your vials of blood, and your Outworld crown, as we're ranking all 20 of the new Outworlder fatalities from worst to best. You know, putting this list together was not an easy task. The finishers at this point highlight so much about the character while making their abilities take the forefront. Sadly, one of the more popular and beloved characters stumbles out of the gate with a very lackluster ender. You know, I was about to drop the usual, though it's low, I don't think it's bad, but I can't really say that for this one. Number 20 goes to Erron Black's 6-shooter. For a cowboy with a wide variety of traps, guns, and even a tar cotton blade as a sword, this finisher kinda sucks. This is how you finish off someone in a scripted moment of an FPS game, not a fatality for Mortal Kombat. Sure, having the side of the head exposed after a shot is nice, but this really doesn't do anything special to make it memorable. Sorry, Erron, looks like you missed your target. But we're not done talking about Erron Black inside of MKX, as I found both of his fatalities to be pretty underwhelming. With the first reminding me of the worst parts of Injustice 2's Deadshot, this second one only budges up slightly, dare I say, by a few grains of sand. Number 19 goes to Darude Sandstorm. With the first one being underwhelming, this one is just boring. But I will give it credit and some bonus points for using the sand grenades in the finisher instead of just shooting them to death. So points for creativity, I guess. Also, I don't even think the developers think highly of this one.
Erron Black wins.
He's fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
He'll be back for the next round.
Yeah,
Don't
we're
worry.
good. We're
He's
good.
totally fine.
So far, not a good start for Erron Black. For such a cool design and gameplay, his finishers are some of the weakest in both MKX and the series as a whole. While we're at it, let's stay on focus with Mortal Kombat X for a third time, but with a new character to talk about, D'Vorah. The newcomer is a member of the chitin race, a species of colonial insects that bond together to form humanoid bodies. And she also serves as a major antagonist in MKX and MK11. In the story, she made a major impact by killing off Baraka in the story. Oh, spoilers by the way. Which the finisher was available to perform outside of the story, which still feels kinda awkward. Number 18 goes to Heartbroken. For D'Vorah's weird power to summon bugs and use larvae, this approach is kinda weird. It almost happens too fast in the beginning, and it seems to linger on way after the opponent is dead. Also, after removing the heart and the brain, who was she showing off to by clapping them together? The opponent? I mean, they're just standing there watching it happen, but they don't have eyes and they're also dead. What are they doing? It's just an odd finisher that really doesn't highlight the character well. Kind of a stinker that lacks heart. Number 17, and we're already at the latest title, Mortal Kombat 11. With these fatalities utilizing many features, it's kind of a bummer Erron Black's finishers didn't improve much by jumping into the next installment. Melted will take the 17th spot. In concept, this one almost works. Like Heartbroken, this one kinda lingers a bit too long. If I were to trim this for time, I would have started with throwing the acid, and then after he shoots them in the kneecaps, they fall in the acid to begin with. Then end it by a not-so-jolly curb stomp. With a few of these improvements, this one could have stomped up a few more placements. So real quick before we continue this video, all of these finishers that are coming up I consider to be really good finishers. Putting them in a ranking order was probably the most challenging part and one of the most challenging things I've done when it came to ranking these finishers. I find all of these to be pretty good. They all match the character very well. Just placing in order was extremely challenging as one or two factors really just altered where one got placed on this ranking. So if you do see a finisher put low, I still think it's good. I don't dislike it. I just wanted to get that out of the way before we continued. And with that out of the way, let's move on to number 16. Time to move on to one of the first one-timers I've covered on this channel, the Kollector. Part of the Naknada tribe, his people are slaves to Shao Kahn, which his people were useful as they built his Colosseum. With the 6 arms, he also made use for it in combat and for ripping things apart. Pulling ahead at Sweet 16 is For the Collection. Yet again, this is another one that could have been better, but a decent finisher overall. Tackling the opponent to rip them apart with multiple arms is definitely an approach, which is even something a Shokan character hasn't even done yet. As he rips the opponent apart, you can see certain organs the Kollector wants to, well, collect. Ending it all by ripping the head and smashing the body with a cool freeze frame. The reason for smashing the body, as confirmed by an NRS writer, is because he didn't want to leave any parts behind for other scavengers. It's a weird reason, but I do like how it ties into his lore a bit. But this one makes for a bloody good end. Moving on to MKX and to the Thunderdome with our next Outworlder, Ferra Torr. Clearly inspired by Master Blaster from Mad Max, this character is a symbiotic pairing who serve Shao Kahn as his bodyguards, and are also the second pair of characters to take a single slot. To protect the Khan, these characters brought a fun playtime dynamic with a dark spin. Aw, how fun! Number 15 goes to Playtime. With the dynamic of Ferra Torr being like father and child, this is highlighted in a fun way. It's a unique spin on the projectile and splitting fatality, throwing Ferra and having her hand claws split them upon being pulled back. Though we've seen people split in half, it's a nice way to innovate it. Jumping back into the bag of Kollector with his second fatality. With the first focusing on collecting new body parts, the second one utilizes what Kollector has collected to take down the opponent once and for all. Moving ahead to our 14th spot is Head Lantern. I prefer this one over his first finisher for a couple of reasons. First, this actually feels more like a Kollector fatality, whereas the first felt like a Melina finisher. I like how it utilizes the blades, teleportation, and capping it off with his signature weapon. The eye pop is a great final touch and to take advantage of the gore innovation. And that's a wrap on Kollector's finishers. He may have had a short ride, but his finishers were quite unique and impressive. After all this time, we're finally looking at the rumored turned real ninja, Skarlet. This character started as a rumor during the arcade era, specifically during MK2's heyday. People mentioned they saw a red-clad woman dubbed Skarlet. After years of discussion, she was added as the first DLC character in the reboot. History lesson out of the way. Skarlet was given the power of blood magic and grows stronger by absorbing the opponent's blood through her skin, which is what leads to a pretty simple and character-driven finisher.
Skarlet wins flawless victory.
The Cursed 13 goes to Bloodbath. For an original character, this one is done pretty well. Stabbing the ear is just uncomfortable to begin with, but slicing the neck and tilting it back to make a blood fountain is pretty awesome. As either a fan of Evil Dead or the British would say, this one's a bloody good time. Jumping back into Mortal Kombat X for Ferra Torr's second fatality. As bodyguards for Kotal Kahn, they are also responsible for executions too. These characters provide quite the spin on a classic finisher.
Wins.
12 goes to better than 1. Though we've seen an opponent being split down the middle, this is an awesome way to innovate it. Torr grabbing the opponent's arms and having Ferra stab their head and go down their back is great. The little details with it is being their legs flailing in pain, and the great touch of Torr pulling them in half is awesome. This dynamic duo really did a good job by providing quality finishers. But it's time to move beyond the Thunderdome for the final 4 characters to be covered. Taking another look at Skarlet while moving into Mortal Kombat 11. Since her latest appearance, her story and powers were retconned. She now uses blood telekinesis to take the blood from the weakened foes instead of absorbing it through her skin. With these innovations, we were provided a gross fatality in presentation and in execution, quite literally. Number 11 goes to Heart Condition. Probably one of the more gross finishers inside of Mortal Kombat 11. Creating veins to impale the opponent's heart and then overpump it with blood and pop it like a water balloon is gross. Also, from a technical and presentation sense, it's really cool to see another X-ray based fatality again. It's nasty, innovative, and it's awesome. Not too much to say there. We are halfway through this list and have cracked into the top 10 with the new ruler of Outworld, Kotal Kahn. With the Mayan inspiration and a magical spin, he is quite a standout in gameplay and in presentation. This character is a powerhouse and will do anything to make sure he can get someone for a sacrifice after a good fight. Number 10 goes to Totem Sacrifice. Of the finishers we've seen so far, this one is super brutal. Kicking the opponent's head against the base of a totem, then to kick it off like a bony Pez dispenser is quite disturbing. Ending it all by summoning a giant head to smash the other head with 2 eyes flying at the camera. Quite the fitting finisher for the new Emperor of Outworld. It's been quite a while since we've checked in on the Outworld Cowboy, but here he is for one more shot. With the first 3 being pretty underwhelming, his final finisher goes out with a literal bang. Number 9 will go to Death Trap. Now this is how you pull off an Erron Black fatality. Throwing a bear trap to eviscerate the opponent, which is something the trapper had thought about doing to an obsession, to then shove the rifle into the cavity to pop their cap off. The shoving of the rifle deeper into them and the eyes flying out are great touches to this finisher. And after 3 misses, this, well, Outworlder ended with a bang.
I'm from Earthrealm, like you. But my employer, Kotal Kahn, is from Outworld. So now I'm from Outworld.
When in Rome, when in Outworld, I guess. Just like that, this cowboy took his final shot and is out of the ranking. Revisiting Mortal Kombat X to check in on Devora's second finisher. With her first being pretty underwhelming, her second one is a major improvement in almost every aspect. Bug Me will take the 8th spot. Of the finishers in MKX, this one stands out for its pacing and framing. Starting off with the Wicker Man's Nightmare to rip the 2 holes in the opponent, then to get the swarm to attack their eyes. Their eyes! To cap it all off with the head roll to Devora and a perfect ending by stomping it out. Many have complained how MKX's finishers don't really know how to end, but this one just has a great flow to it. It's unbelievably gross. Taking a look at Kotal Kahn's first fatality from Mortal Kombat X. This new ruler of Outworld needs to show how strong he is. To be fair, he is following up after the mighty conqueror of realms, Shao Kahn. Though he may not be as strong as the true Kahn, he's at least strong enough to pull this off. Lucky 7 goes to Tight Squeeze. Even though I find this to be more fitting for someone like Goro or Kintaro, this one still works well for Kotal Kahn. Hugging the opponent with a bear hug of the gods to pop the opponent's head is nice, but to squeeze everything out on top of it is what makes this so memorable. It's so absurd, but amazing. Talk about a literal pop-off on the opponent. Let's take a look at Devora's first finisher from Mortal Kombat 11. The team really advanced their gore-tech for these finishers, which made some impossible executions now possible. With that, here's Can't Die. Jeez, this is just nasty. Now, we may have seen a similar finisher inside the same title with Gearus, but I prefer this one more. For one, how the body is stuck to the ground with some weird fluid, then to have the frontal plane ripped off is just disgusting. How the body arches when being pulled shows a nastier side to this finisher's presentation. This finisher just kinda sticks with you. We're about to jump into the top 5 Outworlder finishers, so like this finisher, it's time to peel back and look at the rest. Rounding out the second of Skarlet's finishers from Mortal Kombat 11. As mentioned in her first MK11 entry, the team retconned her, giving her powers of blood telekinesis. Now she can pull blood from the opponent to either boost herself or to weaponize it. With the retcon, we were given quite an awesome and terrifying finisher. Talk about a bloody mess, as it'll crack into the top 5. The shock of having all the blood pulled from the opponent's face, which somehow doesn't kill them, is something unique and something we've never seen before. Then to turn each into a spear and throw back into the opponent is awesome. The framing is great too, using a superior angle shot, ending it all by a freeze frame with the last spike bursting through their eye with it impaled at the end. Quite the bloody awesome fatality where she makes it rain. Oh, and speaking of making it rain, we are sealing both Skarlet and all of Mortal Kombat 9's fatalities at number 4. Saying Skarlet's finishers are bloody is an understatement, but this comes off as both terrifying and very character fitting. It's also one worthy of a flash dance. guessing Jennifer Beals is a fan of this one. Number 4 goes to Make It Rain. With the first one being a unique take and utilizing blood magic, this one sticks with the disturbing tone but comes off as more torturous. Having Skarlet stab herself in the beginning to become a blood pile, then having the opponent hung up to get gutted, and having all the innards pour all over her is pretty gross. It's a bit more complex than the first one, but I like it just a few platelets more. With that, Skarlet is out of the ranking with only 2 characters remaining. Who will take the top spot? Stick around and find out. Time to round out the last of Mortal Kombat X's fatalities by looking at one of the first ones revealed. When this game was showcased at E3 2014, 6 characters were shown off with a total of 6 fatalities as well. Of the ones shown off, this had the most impact and was a great spin on an old classic. Earning the bronze medal is B Mine, not to be confused with the Melina finisher from MK9. Instead, Kotal Kahn carves the opponent's chest to rip out the heart, crushing it to pour the blood all over his face. A great spin on the heart rip finish. It nails it with the presentation and is a perfect fit for the blood god. Of all the heart rips, this one is one of my favorites, but there is another heart-based finisher I like more. For our runner-up, we'll be taking a final look at Kotal Kahn in his latest appearance. In this title, Kotal Kahn was able to transform into a Jaguar, which according to Ed Boon is named Maserati or Bentley. Either way, those Jaguars are going to do one thing: eat their prey. Wow, what a gusher. Number 2 goes to cat food. Now we've seen many enders where the opponent gets eaten, but this one may be the best of those. Having Kotal Kahn to rip their chest open to reveal the heart, then to transform into the Jaguar to eat the heart is amazing. With MK11 focusing on freeze frames, this one is one of the best ways to use it by ending it with the heart bursting with fluids. Not only is this a great finisher, it's an amazing callback to MK3's Animalities. The team really nailed this one out of the park, which makes cat food earn the silver medal. But it's time to round out this grouped ranking by looking at the Killer Queen Bee one more time. Many of these finishers have done an amazing job with its pacing, innovating and highlighting their characteristics while feeling exclusive just to them. Of all of these fatalities, this one is a clear standout among the rest, as it uses phobias in paying tribute to classic horror films. Rightfully deserving the number 1 spot is New Species from Devora. When putting this list together, I knew this one was taking the top spot, no doubt about it. Spitting an egg down the opponent's throat to have them freak out on the floor is absolutely disturbing, which this moment is a direct reference to Ridley Scott's Alien. The legs bursting out of the body to break the opponent in half, then to have the bug's head break out is also a nod to John Carpenter's The Thing, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Even if you didn't catch the reference, it still does a great job on presentation alone. Also another dark and gross fun fact about this finisher, the sound of the vomit is actually mushed bananas, and the skull breaking is the sound of a green pepper breaking.
We probably here's our banana sounds. Like, that's kind of gross.
Of all of the new Outworlder fatalities, this one stands out as one of the best, and as a Mortal Kombat fatality through the series, this one is also one of the best, or in Devora's case, a Kai 10 out of 10. It's what helps make this the number 1 new Outworlder fatality of all time. So there you have all 20 of the new Outworlder finishers ranked from worst to best. Let me know who your favorite new Outworlder was and share why. Personally, I've been a big fan of Kotal Kahn and Skarlet. My girlfriend really likes button mashing as Skarlet whenever we'd play some matches together. Also, I'd like to take some time highlighting comments from previous videos that just really put a huge smile on my face. Hey everyone, thank you very much for sticking around till the end of the video. There have been a lot of comments you've been putting out for me, and a lot of them mean so much, and a lot of them are questions or just fun comments, and I would really like to highlight the ones that I've gotten here, and I want to make this a regular thing in future videos I'll be working on, so let's get at it. First I have Dante Williams. I really hope to see Injustice 2 super moves ranked at some point in the future. Oh, and remember the Mortal Kombat rosters ranking that I recommended a while ago. And yes, I do, Dante. I would love to do like a fun ranking of what rosters I like throughout each game. I think that'd be a fun thing. And along with the super moves, I think that'd just be fun, especially with superhero mania in general with the media. I think it'd be fun to do. Justin's Rants and Raves. I really want SNK rankings, bro, and I would love to do that, so I got you covered, so stick around for that soon. Starcast, sticking on with the SNK rankings, and others. You could rate the supers or rank the supers from games like King of Fighters, Injustice, Tekken, Samurai Showdown, or the insta-kills from Guilty Gear. I would love to see that. Something new, fresh, and exciting. I think that'd be fresh and exciting as well, too. And then Ace Commander says, hilarious commentary. I'm happy you thought it was funny. Bakan Games, hi, how's it going? Nice face reveal. Thank you, and get ready to see my face more often. And Cheese, I want to see Shao Kahn's finishers ranked, and I know plenty of you want to as well, so sound off, and based on your comments, that's actually how I order where I want to do, or when I want to do some rankings. So if you have a character that you really want to see, sound it off, and I'll get it to come out much faster. And Pico Rico, once you're done with the individual's fatality rankings, you should do a ranking of all the #1 fatalities by each character, so we know who the best of the best is. Something my dad had suggested for some time, and I think this would be fun to do once I'm officially wrapped up with every single character. It'd be a fun, just long video to work on. Maybe if I reach like a subscriber milestone, I'd love to do that. Donisha Lin, if you could you do a ranking for the remaining Edenians? Jade, Tanya, Sindel, and Rain. I actually have thought about doing some Edenian ranking like that for Tanya, Sindel, and Rain, so stay tuned for that. And for Jade, stay tuned. And then we have Michael Williams. Can we get a video on one-off characters like Movado, Raiko, etc., etc.? Yes, I'd love to. And then we're gonna round this one off with Banana Jelly. Once again, Nick, you hit it out of the park. I get so excited every time you post. Keep it up, brother. Love the content. Thanks, that really means a ton to me. Every time I see fun comments like that, it really puts a huge smile on my face. Yeah, that's a wrap on those comments there. Again, I love the comments, I love the feedback, I love getting back with you. Sorry that it's been not as timely, I've just been super busy. But yes, thank you again for your comments. I'd like to make this a regular thing from now on. If you have a fun comment or a fun suggestion, just let me know and I'd like to highlight it. Alright, thank you. Also, we're not done looking at the Outworld, so come back next time, Monday, September 12th, for another character ranking. Let's just say it ain't easy being, well, you know the rest. As always, thank you so much for tuning into this video. My name is Nick, and remember to have an amazing day.